So what's good with the world of EA Sports, Madden, and the franchises, the CFM folks, and those who just like to waste time and spectate stuff. So this will be the first episode of what? Go in there, play. Come here with me. This will be the very first episode of. Make sure I'm not on none of my cords. Yeah, like I'm saying, this is the first episode of Connected Franchise. I'm in year, I believe, 3 in this franchise. So I decided to do a rebuild for this franchise, and it's going to be with the Atlanta Falcons. Let me just go ahead and check and make sure everything can be heard on the live. So give me a couple seconds to see if everything's going good. Be quiet. You need to be quiet. That is recording. See if everything's going good. You need to be quiet. All right. Okay, so we good to go. Let's go ahead and load up the franchise. Let's see where we're at. We are here. Here we are. So like I was saying, this is the 3rd year, and we're going to do pretty much a rebuild overhaul of this team. And the reason being is goddamn team is trash. Let's see. Matt Ryan is up there in age now. We got Matt Ryan at 38. He's killing my cap penalty. He's killing my cap. You know. So let's just go ahead and take a look at the depth chart and see where we can go, see what we do, and kind of game plan for that. So as you guys seen, I think my overall team was what, 80? 82. The offense is 80 and the defense is 85. So let's see what we got going on. So as we can see here, we have a plethora of linemen here, and they aren't pretty good. They aren't good at all, really. So the things that when we do a rebuild or overhaul, things that we're going to look at to getting rid of is basically starting fresh, starting over. So on the offense side of the ball, we can look to trade Julio Jones. He's up there in age at 30-something. I think he's like 34. We probably won't get too much for him, but we could get some draft picks for him. We're building Calvin Ridley. Sit down. I'll get out. As you can see, quiet. Todd Gurley's no longer here, and we got this guy here, Brown. His name Allen Brown. So he's a 2-year. We're losing some running backs, so we're going to address the running back situation in the free agency and in the draft, but most likely the draft. Let's see, he's been there for 2 years, so his 2-year stats, he's went 987 to 11. Don't think he made the Pro Bowl, but he's a 3rd-round pick. But let's get into the philosophy of what basically we would look to upgrade at. So we're canning Matt Ryan. I mean, I might cut him. He's gonna free up, I think, 20-something million, and I'm gonna get a cap penalty, which I really don't want, but I want to trade him, but ain't nobody gonna want him. So he has 1 year left on the contract. So if I cut him, I think I looked at it before. It's like $8 million. So let's go here and just check out the offense and see what we're going to game plan with as far as the offense. We're going to go through each position one by one as quickly as we can, starting with the quarterback position. All right, so Matt Ryan have $28 million of money that I will be able to free up I have a cap penalty of 8 million, 8.6. So basically, I'll have 20 million of space, cutting him and letting him go. And this is what we'll be working with as far as quarterbacks. And I like his throw power, but nothing really else. So obviously, we're going to need to address the quarterback position, find a guy that's going to fit our scheme, whatever our scheme will be. Halfback position, we only got 2. I think Quadre Olsen I think he's done at the end of this year as well. So we really only got 1. So we're going to have to address the running back position a few times in the draft or free agency. We need to get Allen Brown's carry up. He did pretty well in the season. If you look at his stats from the 2 years he's been on the squad, 78 carries, not good at all, and he had 4 fumbles, and that's 3 in 1 year. And a lot of the times when I did fumble the ball, I was no huddling, and he was probably tired and got blasted, and he fumbled the ball. So that's probably what most likely happened with that. Fullback position, we get rid of him too, free up some space, and take a little cap penalty. I don't really care. We don't run fullbacks at all. We run tight ends. Julio, we're going to keep Julio because the savings of penalty is not that far-fetched. But if we do get a trade for him, we will not take that big of a penalty for trading him. I think it cuts it in half. But I think we do save the total 11.5. But I think the penalty for trading him, we might only get like a 3 million cap hit on trading him. So, but I mean, depending on how far he regresses, will be the reason why we would let him go. But as you can see, I mean, the receiving core that we have is not really all that good. 2-year players, so I didn't really, when I played this league year 1, I didn't really focus on a lot of things. I was just playing and just playing. I wasn't really developing guys because I didn't think I was going to stay in this league. But I ended up staying in the league, and it is what it is. So tight end positions, we re-signed Hayden Hurst because of his speed, right? 87, 89, and stuff like that. So let's go back to the receiver. So the receiver position, the biggest things that I want my receivers to be able to have is agility and change of direction. To me, those are the 2, stats that affect a receiver all over the field. Catching the ball, running routes, making people miss. You need change of direction, and you need agility to be able to do that. So if they're running streaks, I mean, you don't need neither one. They're just downhill runners, But they're going to be doing breaks from post corners, in routes, out routes, zig routes. They're going to need a high agility. They're going to need change in direction. So that helps with everything else. And then the agility to me would be 1, change of direction is like 2A, but I think acceleration is big too. So you need a guy that's going to have agility, acceleration, change of direction, and then speed is basically the last thing, because obviously in this game you can coach speed because they can get attribute points to their speed to go up. So you can coach speed, but you really can't coach it, but you can coach it. But you can't coach size. Well, maybe you can coach size because you can put a guy on the weight program, and so things that you're not supposed to be able to coach, you can coach according to this game because they get speed boost and upgrades. So, but with that being said, I mean, Ed McCree needs his agility. He needs to get some points in agility. He's a normal trait. I mean, the guy's not really that good. He's a special teamer. So we do need to address the receiver position because we do need a number 2 and maybe a number 2, because one of these are going to fall to a 3. Well, he's not going to fall, but he might fall to a 3. And I'm not really too comfortable with him being a 2 or a 1. Yeah, 2. So we're going to need a 2 and a 3. So we're going to address that position in the offseason. Tight end position, I like tight ends I can run. And to me, as far as what I'm building or it's possession. They just need to be able to catch the ball. You want good size to have a mismatch versus linebackers and safeties. So you want, so this guy doesn't really make it. He's really my fullback, but he plays tight end. And then as far as anything, you want to have impact block. Impact block because that holds the edges. So these guys hold the edges. Not great. It's low, but It's good enough. And Hayden Hurst has a little bit of lead block. So with your fullback, if you can get a tight end that can have some lead block, you would basically put him there as well. So I mean, like, Hayden Hurst is basically my best blocker as far as being able to play fullback and tight end. So how I would put him, I would start him at fullback and put him at number 2 on the tight end depth chart, to where if I'm in ace one running back situations, he's on the left side. But in I formation, he's at the fullback spot, because no one really generally guards the fullback on the flat routes and everything. So him with 87 speed, catching the ball going upfield, it's good. And then also, if he had a higher lead block, maybe like 70 would be like the lowest that you can get, or you should have, even though 63 is pretty bad. You know, he's not going to be effective on lead blocks, but 63 is okay. And what, you know, the fullback here, when you look at his lead block, is at 80. But I just don't like him because he's not dynamic, and he really can't run. Like, anybody can guard him. So, and then his carry, I just don't like him. So I go. So as far as left tackle situation, how I look at my line and how I use my line and the scheme of my line, right? My fastest linemen are always going to be left tackle and right tackle. Number 1. Whoever's my offensive line and they got this type of speed, where 70, 80, and a good agility, they're off rip, they're going to left tackle or right tackle. So as you can see here, I have Paul Freeman. I don't really look at the strength ratings or anything like that, or the size. It's completely irrelevant. But the speed and the acceleration and agility matters for left tackle and right tackle, because they're the edge protectors. So you might have a corner blitzing, you might have, you know, fast defensive ends blitzing, fast pass rushing outside linebackers blitzing. They do not have this speed here. They are not going to help out on blocks at all. They're going to run right around them. So let's see what his stats say for this year. You see he's a 74 overall. He's only given up 5 sacks. And then we go to my right tackle. As you can see, it's basically this in reverse, same thing kind of. He just doesn't have a lot of agility, but 69 is really good, but he still has the speed. And so he's on the right side because that's more of the power side. So he has a higher strength, but he has the speed and everything to go with it. He just needs to be built up. I'm losing him in free agency. I'm letting all these guys go because I didn't like them from the gate. So like I said, my fastest lineman, the 1 and 2, fastest one, I need speed. They're going straight to the tackle spots. And then my second tier of fast linemen, which is like, we'll say 71 speed, 72 speed, or, you know, something with a high acceleration, but their speed is low and they have pretty good agility, they go to the guard spots, because the guards need to be able to pull as long as with the right tackles on power plays, some screen plays, and etc. and etc. So as you see here, Caleb McGarry he has 71 speed, 81 acceleration, not really good agility, but that's just to be able to pull from tackle from guard to guard. So if he's pulling on power plays, he's going from his guard spot to the other guard spot. So that's what I look for when building my offensive line. As you can see with the ratings and everything else, pass block is a dead rating. The rating you need to focus on is power move and finesse move block. Those are the trump, because that's what they go against. That's what's matched. So you don't care about pass block for in itself. Doesn't matter. As far as run blocking now, run blocking matters. Power and finesse matters, because power is how effective they're going to pull, right? And then the finesse is for zones and stretches and stuff like that. So if they have a high run block finesse, that's for zones, inside zone, outside zone, what else? Stretches, stuff like that. So counters are power. Anything over the counter and pulling a power play, that's for the power, but you also need the run block and the stuff like that. And then impact block and lead block are very important, because impact block is for how well they don't get pushed back on engagement. So he has 86. So most D tackles should have a high impact, because D tackles have impact, as we'll go over here and see. So you see the impact blocking for Grady Jarrett is at 88. That's the initial push of the two players at each other. So in a sense, Grady Jarrett will have the edge on my right guard because it's 86 to 88, right? So then when you take in consideration of the block shedding and then his power move, he should beat him like a drum all day long. So when you go through your line and you figure out what you have, that's why the double team scheme and play calling is very important, and mic identifying the mic and stuff like that when you're in the game. So you don't really necessarily, you need to really call your play, whatever play you're going to run. If you got past plays that you're running and you know that this guy is going to need some help, you need to give his ass some fucking help at the end of the day. So we're losing Caleb McGarry because I'm letting him go as well. So as you can see, we're going to need a right tackle, we're going to need a right guard, and then centers, they're just help defenders. They don't need no speed at all. They don't need no acceleration. You can give him strength and stuff like that. So I mean, he can play guard, but I don't like him at guard because he doesn't have the acceleration. But he's an emergency guard. If, let's say, at the end of this season, I can't get a guard, I would definitely put him at guard, because even though he lacks the acceleration, he's the second fastest he's the fastest in that second tier. So with this guy here, he's just doo-doo slow. So when you got guys that are doo-doo slow, for me, they're going to play the center position because center doesn't really move unless you're going against a 4-3 defense and they have that Mike linebacker in the middle. So that means the center is in space. So most of the time you just slide protect to the right or left and he'll make him go right or left. He's not going to go chase after the fucking middle linebacker at the end of the day, because that's not what I'm not going to have him do. So my left guard, you see we got Jake Matthews, who's a left tackle on the game, but he doesn't have the speed rating. So I have him at left guard, but he plays right guard. So then my right guard, which is right here, Caleb McGarry, I have him at left guard because at the end of the day, when you look at the stats of Jake Matthews, he has a good impact block, a good lead block, impact block, and stuff like that. He can kind of pass block, run, and finesse. So the left tackle is the blind side, and that right guard, you don't want an immediate pressure from the right guard position, because that's where the number one pass rushing D tackles go on the depth chart. When you go pass rush, D tackle, pass rush, they generally go right there. So you don't want no scrub at the right guard position. So he really plays right guard, even though I have him on the left guard depth chart. But as you see here, Hennessy doesn't really have the acceleration, but it's close enough. So my cutoff for acceleration is really 70 for them to play guard. So all these 80s are good. The 63 is good because he's a guard at the end of the day, but you would generally want that a little bit faster. 65 is really the cutoff for my guard spot. So this guy's a cutoff. Like him, he's like a last resort, and plus all his other stats are boo-boo anyway. So we need to address the offensive line, and when we're drafting these linemen and when we're going through free agency, this is what we're looking for. We're looking for this here, and then depending on what they do, we'll go to strength, we'll go to lead block, impact block, and stuff like that. So finding linemen in the free agency is a lot easier than finding linemen in the draft. So in the draft, for certain linemen, you would probably want the top 5 stats in cone and shuttle and stuff like that. Strength, obviously in this game, you can coach strength. So, I mean, you have a cutoff, because they're going to get stronger with development. So don't miss out on a good lineman because he might have 26 bench press rep and he meets all your requirements for everything else. So therefore, I mean, take the risk and gamble. He might be a star trade at the end of the day because he's going to get passed because his strength is so low. So that addresses the line, which we need a lot of help with. Let's see, let's go to the stats real quick before we move on to see how many times I've been sacked on this season. And also, I was in the playoffs, I won the division, and I went 8-8. And I wasn't even trying to win the division. That's what's crazy. And I barely lost that game, which I shouldn't have. I should have won that game, but I kind of messed that game up. So Matt Ryan started the season, and he played his last game in the playoffs because we were at home, so I let him play. So as you can see, this shit is atrocious. This is just very, very bad because it's just bad. It's just bad. But on the end of the season, that's 36. So total of, we'll say 38 sacks we gave up. We gave up 38 sacks. So we'll go to the next team. We'll go, let's just go Eagles. So he gave up 29. Football team, 29. 10. So we gave up a shitload of sacks, but we're kind of right around, with a very bad offensive line where everyone's getting sacked. As you see, the offensive yardage production was just atrocious because I was subbing quarterbacks in and out. I was really trying to blow the game so I could get a good draft pick, and I end up winning the division. But that's neither here nor there. So let's go ahead and go over to the defensive side of the ball, which we can't do everything in one offseason, but we can kind of build upon what we have. Okay, so left, and we run a 4-3 defense, and we also run the playbook that I choose for my defense is the Washington Redskins defense, because they have a 3-4 set, and they have a 4-3 set and a 4-6 set. So that's basically what? 2 base, and then 1 stop in the run sets. So for like double tight ends type of stuff. That's for the 46 and 44. So defensive ends. So in the 4-3, you got 2 defensive ends. You got a right end and a left end. And I'm kind of, you see this guy here, he's definitely does not play left end on the depth chart. He's a D tackle. I put him there so the team won't sign somebody. And I have the scheme, the little puzzle piece there. It means he fits the scheme. So he's going to get the training points for it. So my right ends, how I kind of manipulate the system is that when I put Tack McKinley at left defensive end, he still keeps the puzzle piece, even though he does not. So the puzzle piece for left end scheme and my defense, which is 4-3, is run stopper, right? So as you can see here, Tack McKinley is a speed rusher, which is the puzzle piece for the right defensive end. So let's go to the scheme chart, and so we can easily understand what I'm talking about. So we go to coaching schemes, right? So it says run a base 4-3. So it says left defensive tackle, left defensive end is a run stopper, right defensive end is speed rusher, D tackles are basically run stoppers, blah, 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 blah. So I got all my people in their schemes, right? But I moved them in the depth chart. So, because when you're doing the training, you get all the points they can possible when they have the little the little puzzle piece. You get all the XP they can gain when they have the puzzle piece. But in the depth chart, it says the left defensive end is a run stopper, and Tack McKinley clearly is a speed rusher. So as you can see here, left end have Fowler, who's a speed rusher as well. They're both speed rushers, but I keep the puzzle piece. See that I keep the puzzle piece so they can play the position. And so it's just a manipulation of how I do things with my offensive line and defensive line, to where when I'm training them, I keep all the XP that I can possible. Only one that doesn't really fit is Grady Jarrett, because he has such a high power move that they have him down as a power rusher. So I just need a couple more attribute, a lot of more XP to get his run stopper up at the end of the day. So with the 4-3 scheme, it's really, you see with the scheme that it's only one pass rusher on the team. Everybody else are run stoppers, right? So when you talk about pass rushers in the game, right? And you look at my team, we need to build a pass rusher. We don't have one yet. We don't have an elite pass rusher, but we're working on it. So Fowler's gone. Fowler's out of here. He was older, a lot older and stuff like that. So when I was first initially playing the game, I didn't really like I didn't really like what I was doing. I didn't really like the team and all the players that they had because I didn't like Dan Quinn's philosophy at the end of the day. So, but anyways, so for an elite pass rusher, right, and for him to keep this this puzzle piece, right, an elite pass rusher, doesn't matter what it is, he's elite at pass rushing. So what you need to have is you need to have whatever his puzzle piece is. So for instance, if his puzzle piece was power rusher, for him to fit the scheme, you want that to have the most. You want that to go to 99, and then you want both of these, the speed rusher and the power rusher, to be at 99, right? Which is really hard to do at the end of the day. So they're not run stoppers at the end of the day. They are pass rushers. So an elite pass rusher stats, they're not going to have just speed rusher at 99, right? And then their power move is going to be really low. Like, you know, you don't even touch it. It's like 50 something or 40 or, you know, 60 or 70. An elite pass rusher, the guy that you pay $100 million for a pass rusher, like Aaron Donald and everything, they have both stats. So if you look at Aaron Donald's stats, a guy that you would probably never let go of. So if whatever his scheme is, this guy is $100 million guy because he has the high power move and he has the high finesse move, right? So he's an elite pass rusher. So if he just had 99 power move and 74 or 60 finesse move, there's some linemen on this game that have 99 pass block power. So Aaron Donald, and then they have a high pass block finesse rating. Aaron Donald would struggle because when you go head to head with the attributes, you know, they're equal at 99 power move, but then the offensive lineman has better finesse move, right? Then that means if Donald had 74, like this guy here, right? So he would lose on the attribute battle because they're equal here, but the offensive lineman had a higher power finesse move than his. So to make an elite pass rusher, they need to have whatever their scheme says, power move or speed rusher. You need to have, so basically if it was speed rusher or power move, 99 how it is, you need 99, and then you need 98, one lower. Or you need to have them both at 99, but you need to have the puzzle piece on power move, right? So the way you would get power move, right, is you would boost up the power move, and then you would have the speed rusher right behind it. So when power moves at 98 and your speed rush is at 98 and it's still at power move, you go hit power move one more time if you have the attributes, so it'll make it 99. So then your last 3 XP points, right, you put them on the speed rusher, and then that will make him fit the scheme once those 3 points hit him to 99. You get what I'm saying? So it'll flip on the last thing, on the last points you give him, to where they max out at 99 and he falls onto the speed rusher category. So at the end of the day, so for an elite pass rusher, I don't care what you're doing. I don't care if you're nano blitzing, which it's different because that means you're using a linebacker at the end of the day to nano blitz. You're not using a defensive end. For a pure pass rushing defensive end, right? Pure pass rush, you're going to spend all this money on, which the Falcons spent a lot of money on Dante Fowler to be a pass rusher. But as you can see, he's only one side heavy. So I've been building up his power move, which took me years to do just to get it to 80, right? So he does not fit this scheme of an elite pass rusher. Neither does Tack McKinley, but he's a little bit younger, and I've been building him. I just basically just started building them like a year ago. So as you can see, his speed rush is 88 and his power move is 84. So we're going to continue to attack that. So what's going to happen in the draft, if I find a guy in the draft that I like to be my pass rusher, who's pretty young, 21, 20, 22, whatever the case may be, he's going to have good XP, you know, a good star, maybe a star or whatever. I'm going to look for a pass rusher so I can ascend him and build his power move and finesse move up to where he will be an elite pass rusher. As far as D tackles goes, D tackle just needs block shedding and power move. They don't need finesse move, you know. They really don't need it. But this is what you can do too in the 4-3 defense, right? Let's say in the 4-3 defense, you have a 4-3 defense, and you do not have an elite pass rusher at the right end and left end spot, right? Let's take the Colts, for instance. Let's go all the way out. Let's go all the way to the beginning, right? This is what's cool about certain things. So we need an elite pass rusher. I gave you the status quo on what an elite pass rusher is. I mean, we could look at the rosters and let's say we know what elite pass rushers are, right? So we'll go to all. Go to left end. I'm just gonna go left end, right? And we want elite pass rushers. You're gonna all have something in common. So we know J.J. Watt is an elite pass rusher. What does he have in common? He has a high power move and he has a high finesse move because he's an elite pass rusher. Now, 93, you can boost that up a little bit. So let's go to the next, Cameron Jordan. Cameron Jordan has a high power move and a somewhat high finesse move, right? So he's more of a D tackle, defensive end rusher. J.J. Watt can play anywhere on the field because he has a high power move, high finesse move, right? Akeem Hicks, you know what he is. Joey Bosa, right? What is he? He's an elite pass rusher. He's a $100 million pass rusher. Why? Because he has 96 finesse move and he has 90 power move. He has both of those. So if that a team is passing the ball, whatever the case may be, he's going to be the one generating all the pressure, getting all the sacks, because there's no lineman that's going to have both power move and finesse move so high to where they can stop him. So his initial attack will be a finesse move. So if it battles a lineman and he spin moves and he loses, he can power move the next move and then beat him because that offensive lineman might have a low power move. So I mean, you look at Daniel Hunter, he's an elite pass rusher. He will be a $100 million pass rusher because once this power move goes up in the years to come and this finesse move goes up, it is what it is. So what I was saying, let's say if you're playing with the Colts and the Colts don't have an elite pass rusher, as you can see here. None there, none there. None there, none there, none there, right? Well, their elite pass rusher, their $100 million pass rusher is DeForest Buckner. So you got power move here, none there, none there, none there. These are all babies. These are babies. These are babies. He's somewhat okay, but he's nothing elite. Nothing elite at all. So when you look at DeForest Buckner now, so when you get this team and you're looking at your roster and you're like, damn, I need an elite pass rusher. Well, the person you're going to practice and give the points to, the focus points to, is going to be DeForest Buckner, because all he needs is power move. He needs to get his power move up. Let's say you get his power move in 4 weeks of training him to a 93 or a 95, because they usually get like 3 power moves every other week, 3, 1, and then stuff like that. So let's say he will be an elite person. He will be your pass rusher, where you could put him on the edge. You could put him at the nose. You could put him at the, D tackle 1, D tackle 2. You could put him anywhere because he's going to generate the pressure of $100 million pass rusher. Only thing that he would lack, honestly, would be the speed to get to the quarterback, right? Because he's 72, 85, right? But at the end of the day, most quarterbacks are around this speed. So if you put him on the edge, you put him wherever you want, he's going to be your $100 million pass rusher. It is what it is. So when you look at the Falcons, their $100 million pass rusher is really Grady Jarrett, which I kind of didn't build him in the other season, in the other game. I kind of just played with them because I wasn't gonna stay with the team. I was gonna leave the league, but I was like, it's the only league I got the Falcons in. So I should have been getting his XP points all the way up to where this finesse move gets to like a high 80, a high 86, or close to 90, as high as you can get it. And he would have been my elite pass rusher to where I put him on the edges, I put him at D tackle, put him wherever I want to put him, and he's going to be the one generating the pressure on every team that I play against. I didn't do that. So that's what you look for. That's how you make a elite pass rusher. Is the run stopping aspect of it is really the last part. Your pass rusher running, stopping the run is something not something what you're looking for. But if he has it, like a Khalil Mack, obviously, and Aaron Donald, that's because they're built in the game that way. So they're the perfect specimen. So with that being said, now we're here. Grady Jarrett's 30 years old. He's a superstar trade. He's my best pass rusher, and I got it from 70. I think it was 73. So I got it to 82. So still grinding it out. But, I mean, it's going to cost too much now for XP to get him another point. But other than that, he's basically my #1 pass rusher. So he has inside stuff and El Toro. So in the games, I move him around a lot. I move him predicated to where the hash marks are. Is how I do my depth chart. So the ball's on the right hash mark, I put him on the left side, which would be the defense's right side. The ball's on the left hash mark, I put him on the defense's left side. You know what I'm saying? So he's on the opposite side of the hash mark. So when the ball's on the left hash mark, he's on the right side on the offensive line. Ball's on the right hash mark, he's on the left side of the offensive line. So he's funneling everything in from that way. So if the quarterback tries to scramble roll out, he's definitely going to be the first to break free and put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. Let's see how many sacks he has. I don't even think he has that many sacks, to be quite honest with you. He had 3. And the reason why he has 3 this year is because that's when I started putting his XP points up from last year and this year. So these 2 years I started putting his XP points up. So, I mean, there's just certain things that I could have done better that I didn't do. But, I mean, if you look at my other leagues, that's what I'm doing. So Takk McKinley, at the end of the day, he's a good pass rusher, but he's not at the same time. So he has 9.5. He had 6.5 last year, so he went up. And then go here, Fowler. I don't even know what Fowler. To me, Fowler hasn't done anything any year really. So he went 10.5, and he dropped down to 7. So, I mean, I do need an elite pass rusher. So we'll get there. This is all about rebuilding, anyways. So, linebackers, we got Michael Walker. These guys here. And, we got Deion Jones. You got Forsyth Oluokun. Linebacker-wise, you want high agility, high change of direction, because that's what this whole change of direction thing, they added this year in Madden, so you couldn't use any linebacker and be able to go left and right as fast. These guys are just superhuman. So the change of direction has affected them going sideline to sideline, when you shuffle left and shuffle right. So that's why people now put safeties there on their sub linebacker for passing and stuff like that. But Deion Jones is real good at it. He's not great. Well, he's great, but he's not perfect. You know, his change of direction you would wish would be a lot higher. But that's generally what I look for. I look for agility, change of direction, and then speed, obviously. Hit power doesn't really matter in this game. There's not many. I mean, I hit stick with Keanu O'Neal every freaking game, and you would figure by this guy having 94 hit power, he should have forced fumbles all over the place. Well, he doesn't. 2. We had 1 last year and 2 the year before. 0, 0, 0, 3, and 5. I mean, I want the hit power to matter. And in the game, it doesn't. The only time it really matters is when if you catch the team that's running the ball a lot and their player's tired and they get a hit stick, you know. But other than that, they're not really fumbling. They're not really fumbling on this game. So, but as far as anything, rebuilding the defense-wise, obviously, Grady Jarrett's getting there in age and attribute points. And then, see, I could have had Marlon Davis step into his role, which I started doing so late, you know. I started doing it so late. So that's why I'm kind of want to rebuild this team to go ahead and put my philosophy and what I want down on it. You know, so we'll do it. We'll get it done. We'll figure it out. We'll see what we keep, and we're going to discard what we don't have, what we don't need. As far as corners, I want my corners to be like my receivers. Because at the end of the day, changing direction and agility matters for corner. Because it's for stop and go. It's for left to right. And this is big. So as you can see here, Kendall Sheffield is our best corner. And these guys aren't hacking it at all. They can't even be slot receivers. They're going to get beat on any inside move because the agility and change direction is really low. So we need another corner. So with my corners, like I said from the gate, we can coach speed with attributes, boost and everything. We can coach speed. So I'm looking for the fast cone, broad jump, and shuttle. They're going to be top 5 in those stats, and that's what I'm going to go. That's what I'm going after because it's going to give me the acceleration, the agility, and the change of direction. Like you said, I can coach speed. We can pray and get a bunch of speed boosts. That's fine. So, I mean, this is good, but this ain't even great. You want 95s. You want high agility and change of direction. That's what we want. So this guy, I mean, I'm damn near about to cut him because I think we can coach agility, but I don't think I'm getting that many agility points because these guys been in here for 4 and 3 years, and I don't even think they got agility points like that. So agility is obviously something you can coach, but you can coach everything else. Free safety, you kind of want to have the same thing. You know, they're all out in space, so you need agility, and you need change of direction. So he don't got agility, but he's fast. It is what it is. I think he's a normal. So zones is really important. Let's see. So I mean, we got a lot. The way that people play the game, you know, you got to really have certain things to box in how people play the game. So at the end of the day, to rebuild this team, which I'm going to do a series. Every time the week advances, I'm going to go live and go step by step on what we're doing and what we're not going to do. So this is basically an introduction to the rebuild of the Atlanta Falcons. And we're starting from year 3 or 4, I believe. So let's see what my coaching stats is. Because, I mean, I don't really care. Coaching stats. My overall record is, boom, I am 24-24, 1 winning season, 2 playoff losses. So, with that being said, this will be the start of something to come to where we're going to go positive and not stay 500, because that'll keep you can keep your job at 500. But I mean, you only got one winning season, playoff losses 2. So that means I won the division with a 7-9 record and went to the playoffs. So that's crazy. So we're gonna look to get this record up a little bit. I mean, the division is pretty weak, as you can see. I mean, Mike Tomlin is not a creative. He's supposed to have a created coach. So I don't know how he got away with Mike Tomlin. But anyways, as you can see, that's really bad, and that's because I wasn't really feeling the Falcons throughout the season, because the attributes all went down and stuff like that. And I'm like, man, this team is really bad. I need to be rebuilding them now, you know. So I was like, forget it. I just ended up staying, and whatever the case may be. So guaranteed we'll change those win-loss records around, and we're gonna get what we need, and we're gonna build how we see fit. So hope you guys stick around and stay tuned for the upgrade and the rebuild of this team. So every single game that I play, I will go live, and so this will be day 1 of the introduction of the Atlanta Falcons, and every advance that happens to where we move on and we go to the next stage. So basically the next time of day 2 will be in the off season of free agency 1, so we can see what all we lost and go from there and see how much money we have, blah 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 blah. Because as you can see right now, I mean, you look at the salary, this is the main thing that hurt the Falcons, because and why I was really 500 for the past 2 seasons is because we don't have no money. We do not have no money. We got the cap space now because of the end. Our season has ended. But beforehand, I mean, we were 232, and the cap space was 234. I mean, I had all these crazy ass contracts just from the Falcons signing these players that hurt me from being able to re-sign or add players in free agency that would help us win. Because there were some guys that were in free agency that I couldn't even get. Because, I mean, when you look at this, look how much they're paying Matt Ryan, $172 million. And they gave him this contract just like a few years ago. Like at 35, he got this contract. 34, 35, he got this contract. There's no way in hell Matt Ryan should have got a $100 million contract at the age of 35 years. That's like gonna hurt your team. And then they paid Julio Jones, which he's at $92 million. You know, I just re-signed Calvin Ridley 2 years ago. So I mean, I made some, and then they also, hold on, here's another one too. Jake Matthews, he was re-signed. Look at this, for 85, and he sucks. He's bad. So I mean, this team made some bad investments, and then, you know, they signed Fowler for $45 million. Like, he's gone. I can't wait till he goes. Like, he's getting the hell up out of here. I re-signed Tack McKinley, and I'm kind of regretting just re-signing him, but I only got a year left of his contract. So everything you're gonna see is gonna be right here. We're gonna try to help anybody that has trouble building teams and finding guys and stuff like that. Grady Jarrett I re-signed because he was on a 2-3 year deal, so I took him because it's gonna put him at like 33, where he's really useless because he'll be in regression. So Marlon Davidson's gonna hurt because I'm not gonna re-sign him because I wasted his star potential of not building him. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what's gonna suck, because he's 25. I might keep him, I might not. And then another player that I wasted this guy, Kaminsky. I should have been building Kaminsky because he could have been used as like an Aaron Donald. He's 6'5", 285, 85 strength. 83 speed, 84 acceleration. Imagine that guy in the interior. But imagine him as an interior power move and block shedding D tackle. He would be sick. You wouldn't even need finesse move for a guy like that. You just all power move on the interior. But like I said, I screwed him completely over. He doesn't play. So I mean, it kind of sucks, but I mean, it is what it is. So you kind of learn from it. And then that really would be it. We're going to do a completely overhaul. I know I've said this like 10 times already. We're going to overhaul as much as we can. We're going to look for trades. We're going to look for everything that we can do to make this team better and get on the positive win scale. I think I might try to trade and get, if he still has him. See, he wouldn't even trade me Jalen Hurts, and he's not even using him. Like, Jalen Hurts doesn't get used. I could have had Jalen Hurts this whole time. Let's see what his stats are. Let's see what Jalen Hurts' stats are. Like, this is terrible. So yeah, we started. So it's 3 years. This is 3 complete years. He doesn't even play him, bro. And he didn't want to trade me Jalen Hurts. And then he only has 5 carries on the season. Like, what are you talking about? You're using Jalen Hurts. You're not using Jalen Hurts. You're just keeping him for somebody else going. I tried to get him at the beginning. So he's clearly using Carson Wentz. Like, come on. Well, anyway, that'll wrap up day 1. So hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you on the next one.